Alrighty, hard to believe, 10 years of coming through here. So let's see here. Where should we start? Well, it all started in 2008. And I guess maybe I should share just like one tale of when you're working in economic development. A couple things you always need. Ask for clarity. DFO. What do you think that is? Department of Fisheries and Oceans. No, in this meeting it was Dairy Farmers of Ontario. Always ask for clarity on who you're messing with when you have acronyms. Second, sometimes you have to disappoint people. So we had at the Ontario kiosk in the visitor kiosk in Mallory Town, someone come to us and say, "Can we see the Statue of Liberty from the Thousand Islands Tower?" And I said, it is the state of New York, but today I don't think you're going to quite see it. A little overcast, but the sights are amazing. So a little truth, a little kind of massaging there. This year I've gone from chemical brownfield sites to municipal waste sites, looking at their contents with a different lens. Yeah, this job is not all glamorous. To continuing discussions on boats and opportunities for boats. From growing more gardens, wineries, and stay tuned for cideries. And yes, cannabis. It's certainly been a topic for us. What I've also learned, and this is the chemical people in the room, you do not mix ammonium nitrate and light diesel at a same facility as it goes boom, okay? That is something when we're looking at where to place people, you need to know some further details. No day in economic development is the same, so let's go through the 10 years. 2008, County's Council decided to take a leadership role in economic development. This is the slide from that council. Some of the mayors are still here, Jim Pickard, Ron Holman, and Mayor-elect Doug Struthers. I gotta commend you. I thought you hired someone really good. Thank you. Certainly, one of the things that happened right away was we entered in, and this was the biggest challenge of the job. We had the global financial crisis in 2008, since the worst since the Great Depression. In 2009, though, we hosted our first Economic Development Summit in June. Slightly different look back then, and we were using the crest from the county's perspective. We recognized early on that we needed to work together even though we were different. The corridors of opportunities were introduced. And these are all slides from our previous years gone by. In 2010, we recognized the need for a brand and a modern tagline. And then in 2009 and 10, we hosted a series of panel series from each of the sectors to get a baseline of information and become understanding what our employers were looking for. These became mini summits unto themselves. In 2010, we also did a 5-year strategy that recognized the amount of work that needed to be done. It couldn't be done overnight, but our first thing is we needed to become economic readiness for business to come. Feedback from our panel series was overwhelming, and we created our website for a central repository of information. In 2009-10, was also a big year for RTOs, regional tourism organizations were created by the province. I don't know if Bonnie, she was coming from Kingston, if she's made it in, but certainly she's been a big support. We made sure that Leeds and Grenville was included as an entire area, as well as being represented on the board. In 2010, we also started the process of developing an integrated community sustainability plan that the Economic Development Office was involved in. And then in 2011, the counties became involved in updating their site, and we started our first tourism portal piece through the visit section of the website. We introduced an integrated business directory, which all of our municipalities had their businesses listed on, so it was one point of access. And then we also introduced the Warden's Award. And this you'll hear a little bit more about later. This is the Bill Thake, in honor of Bill Thake's service for many years and his commitment to economic development. In 2012, it took over a year to complete it. We did our sustainability plan, and that was presented. And then the summit became recognized as an event that you should not miss. And the reason being is cows and waterbeds. And is Henry in the room? Because I know he was registered too. He may have not. Oh, Henry. Henry, Henry introduced us to the topic of the importance of cows' comfort with waterbeds. If you need to know more, talk to Henry, but it was talked about for many years after. The summit involved various speakers, and certainly Nuterra was one of those key ones that was different. Nuterra is out of Brockville, and they provide water filtration and servicing and cleaning through their mechanisms that allowed many of our rural communities to take a different look at how they provided services. And this was certainly a game changer for many of those municipalities. Already, Minister, I don't know if we should share this one, but in 2011, MPP Clark and I, at the time, stormed the Ontario En Route Centre for a press conference on how we wanted to have leaders, visitor services, and be a leadership in doing that. We went to Mallory Town, onto private property, I guess it was, did a stage. I talked to my boss. I said, so what if I get arrested? He just smiled. But come 2012, we had a contract, and we have been delivering visitor services since then. And thank you to HK Travel Centres, the Ministry of Transportation, and the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Sport. Yes, it took three different entities and agreements to be able to come to that agreement. In 2013, see, the MP and the MPP, they take me off on these courses. Our MP Brown at the time, as you heard earlier, was catalyzing in regards to the Rideau Canal. And our mayor's in tow, very advocating on behalf of that, in making sure that our canal remained open and that the hours were consistent with our operators and the costing was not accelerated as fast as the government originally wanted. So we certainly spent a lot of time in advocating on behalf of that. In 2013, the Bill Thake Awards became part of this ceremony, which is very fitting based on many of the individuals that are recognized come to this room in the first place. And certainly we aspire to many of you being involved in this program. In 2014, this was an interesting time again. The University of Guelph had confirmed they would be closing the Kemptville campus. Counties worked with MPP Clark and the municipality to secure $2 million in funding to the current students to complete their programs and develop a transition strategy. The proposal done for establishing a Kemptville Center for Rural Advancement took the top award for a strategic plan and an economic development council at the Economic Development Council of Ontario. And we've had a lot of success with Brian County in closing that contract and having that land transferred over to the municipality and a not-for-profit being set up shortly. In 2014, we also introduced our e-newsletter. We knew we needed a better way of communicating with businesses. Deanna Clark heads this up with support from Joanne Pohl. Make sure you're receiving this if you're not. In 2014, we also introduced our YouTube channel. If you ever need a video on the region, go to this. It's including counties and all your municipalities. 2015, big year, announcement Giant Tiger was coming to the region and purchased 300 acres in Johnstown. Municipality worked very hard with its partners in getting this completed. Also, in 2015 was the Thousand Islands and Rideau Canal Garden Trail was introduced. This has been a part of the region since, and start was 9 public and private gardens. We also saw the Thousand Islands region was highlighted through its travel media with Joseph, and Cheryl mentioned that in her presentation, so it's nice to have had the region, both Thousand Islands and Rideau covered in this. And then in 2014, we had retired our community guide and introduced our new Discover Thousand Islands and Rideau Canal waterways for relocation purposes and tourism. We also introduced the Invest Guide. This was the first time called Where Lifestyle Grows Good Business. It was our investment attraction main piece. Both these publications have been widely used. In 2015, we still continue to recognize this, and we'll be bringing this back in our next year's summit, is the importance of our small business. And these are 4 individuals that certainly make a difference in our region and our community, with over 80 to 90% of our businesses being small in the region. 2016, if you weren't here for the summit, it was a stunning presentation by Giant Tiger in regards to the technology that they have been adopting. If you ever get a chance, please make sure you take a tour. It is phenomenal, and certainly they're looking to increase their workforce at this point. 2017, Ellen was here. Ellen's here again. Where's Ellen? Stand up, Ellen. So Alan's with Procter & Gamble. We had the news about Procter & Gamble closing down. Alan is still continuing to work and transition employees into other businesses. If you have any openings, please make sure you connect with Alan, and Rob Sear was part of that, and make sure that opportunity to keep our people local. We appreciate that. Business openings, 2017, there was many. Sean Lucy, stand up Sean Lucy. Windmill Brewery opened, and if you're in need of a beer tonight, follow Sean home, okay? He's down in Johnstown, so we appreciate Sean being involved. 2017, Giant Tiger had their community open house, and they're still continuing to transfer their land lines, and we hope to have them back in 2019. The Garden Trail won the Canada 150 Experience of Choice, which was a big opportunity for the region to promote it as a garden destination. And at last year's summit, we heard about Goats with Weir. They are continuing to build and starting to staff and resource. Carrie has now actually gone over to work for FEHA and looking to bring that site in coordination with many of our agricultural communities. David Leonard came last year in regards to Cardinal Health, one of another of our top manufacturer employers. This is a little bit of a success story because Kempel Hospital, after this, approached him, and now they're actually using some of their medical supplies. So that's a good opportunity in how we've increased knowledge and business in our local region. 2017 was a wonderful year in the way we are recognized as not only as the Economic Development Office, but as the region, as the top economic development in the Eastern Ontario. So, and that takes many, many people. 2018-19, where are we heading? We're maintaining our strategic areas of focus. We have 5 of them. You can read them there. Our leadership capacity. Thank you for today. This is part of building our leadership capacity. Our attendance is astronomical. A big cheer for you guys for being winter warriors and making this out. Thank you. Relationships, partnerships, and trust. Can't say this enough in getting to know each and every one of you. Trust is so important in this world of social media, and we have many partners, and the relationships I have with each and every one of you is very much part of the team in making us investment ready and business savvy. Investment attraction, well, Cheryl's told you a little bit about LeBoat. One of the things that did, and I mentioned it earlier, are businesses. Many, many businesses were involved. From the Wicked Witch, who actually had the mosquitoes. You can kind of maybe see what the jar says, but it's F off mosquitoes. Art Glass was also involved. Portland for Lunch, fishing in Sealy's Bay. Some of them that came from this from around the world, this was their first time actually catching a fish. So some of those experiences have gone as far as Australia, South Africa, all over the world. Having them located in Smith Falls is phenomenal for the region. It is impacting many of our communities, Merrickville, Westport, Portland, all of those communities. And certainly Sealy's Bay, that is kind of the cherry to all of this. Noreen Cartwright, she was the glue for this, and I can't give her enough credit, and from the Ministry of Tourism, Culture, and Sport. There are other investments that are happening that you've heard about, BBL Energy. This is in process, and it's in the news, and I'm talking about it because we already have announced it. That deal still needs to finally close. So they're doing their feasibility and making sure everything is okay on the site. The other one you've heard about is Aqua World Resort. Again, that's in process, and that's happening. BBL is in Johnstown. Aqua World is in Maitland. Now, the final one, I'm sorry, I can't tell you everything. Sometimes due to marketing and proprietary information, I can't share, and that's part of the job. But there are other pieces that are going on, both in the province as well as globally. Business retention and expansion, this is one of our main priorities. We are working with Chemours, who is closing down their facility to assist in their transition. And from the business retention side, that's our main project. Sorry, just looking back to that. We'll be doing 4 reports, 3 at the municipal level, 1 at the county level, and this will help us in guiding going forward. Tourism remains a priority. We have our contract for 2009, and we're also working with the 3 RTOs to reinvigorate the Rideau Heritage Route in transferring a development of a new board. Marketing side, we've introduced 2 new websites, both in Best, leesgrenville.com,